Toxic Tackle here. Got a little lure porn for you today. It's not so much lure porn, really and truly, as it is an explanation to some emails. I had some guys asking about the DT7 Rapalas and some of the Rapala modifications I do, and I wanted to give them a little more explanation and just show them a little bit. This is a stock DT7. It's got a coffin bill. This is a very not stock DT7. Can you see the depth that sucker ought to go? Rapala makes this now on a trolling flat bait. I don't know if they watched my video and got the idea or not, but this and this was the same. I took the bill out of this and I refitted it with a bill out of a Resisto wrap. Kind of hard to find now, but they're still out there. And it's real easy to do if you go back and watch the How to Modify Rapala. And most all of the wooden Rapalas you can do this to. I've got some shad wraps, number 7s, with number 8 and 9 bills. I've got some number 5s with 7 bills. I'll have to show you some of those later on. You can also do the shallower running. This is an old one, 07. I did this one. This was one of those DT dives to 3 foot. In the stock form, it looked like that. That little bill. And you see the thumper it's got in it now. The bill angle is a little steeper, so you can't get quite as long with the bill. But this thing right here will just drag and dig and kick up a dirt trail on the bottom and doesn't get hung hardly at all. It's a really good bait. You just got to be careful when you start playing with the bill angles and the size of the bill. I had to cut this bill off and make it a little shorter for this bait to run right. But it runs good and it performs and it catches a lot of fish. You can see it's beat all to death. Anyway, that's just a little explanation. Here's another one. And that one has a circuit board bill. And it is a whole lot better action than it was in its form like this. To me. I mean, that's just my opinion. You know, you don't have to take my opinion or like it or not, but I'm just telling you, you can do these things yourself. Just piddling around, playing around in your garage. Little hand tools. I didn't use anything special to do any of this. A Dremel may be the most special thing you need, but you can do everything you need to do with sandpaper if you have to. So, that was my little explanation on the emails I've gotten about DT7s. I do a lot of modifying of these baits, and I really like these baits. It's a good body shape, and it's a good performing lure. It just performs better to me without the coffin bill. And there is a place for the coffin bill. I do have some still stock that I use early winter time around rocks. They come through stuff pretty decent, but take one like that in the summertime and get on some deeper stuff. And this thing right here will get to 16 to 18 feet depending on the line test. If I use 10-pound test with a long cast, I can get that sucker 18 feet deep. And it's still got a good tracking on the bottom, good action. So tinker around with some of your lures. You may have to sacrifice some lures, but just try it out. Now, I did promise another guy some lure porn, so I'm going to give it to you. Here's a little lure porn. Original, repainted warts. Peanut butter jelly. A shad color. Truly original ones now. And then I've got a bunch of the knockoffs, which are nearly identical. There's just no brass. But lure porn. Some handmade baits. Balsa wood that you can make watching my videos. Real easy. A real flat style. And all these lures I use. This is a more squared off style. Really catches fish when they get up shallow. Brim bedding or anything like that. Got a tight action. Another one, a little teardrop flat bait. So any of those. Here's another flat bait. I copied the Ed Chambers tap bait. Circuit board bill instead though. Alright. Now some oddities that I've done. You don't come up with something unless you just try something different. So here's a Toxic Tackle spy bait. I handmade this, and I didn't use balsa wood, I used bass wood, and I split it in half after I made the lure, and I put a bunch of rattles in it and a bunch of weight and I put it in my pool to get it to where it would just slowly creep down. But it's a spy bait. It works. I've caught a few fish on it. I hadn't played with it much. I don't fish in really clear water, but homemade. All that, just, you know, watching the videos, you can learn how to do it. Here's a store-bought little RC. I don't think I store-bought it. I think Bobby Dennis from Strike King, or from, you know, the guys that make these, he gave it to me. He's one of their lure designers, and I put a prop on the rear. It gives it a unique flash, and it still works. It actually is pretty cool. And I've thought about doing a few more. I just hadn't got around to it yet. You got to play with the size of the propeller. The smaller, the better, to keep it still swimming. But the propeller will give it a spin. I think if I put a little bucktail or a chicken feather tail on it to hold the hook back a little better, I think it'll do better. But it still dives and works. So just playing around with lures, tinkering. This is something I made. This is a balsa crankbait that I was working on and just designing and playing around with, and this is a swim bait tail. And it screws on and off. I took a little piece of 035 wire and made a little screw eye so you can screw on a different tail. And I've caught fish on it actually. It reminds me of one of those Bill Dance dancing eels or something, but it comes through the water and this tail really kicks, and I have actually caught some fish. I put one big treble hook. Just made it tinkering around with ideas, you know, playing around. And that's why I share this with y'all, is so y'all can get inspiration to just play around with something. You may come up with something that's really awesome. And I didn't have much confidence in this, but I took it to the lake and I actually caught several fish on it one day just playing around. I hadn't played with it much since, but I need to re-explore it. Different areas, that might be something that works really good. Last but not least, I've been making some jerk baits for some guys, and these are balsa, a lot like a bango lure. They got a circuit board bill. The bill angle is about the same as a Rogue, and what I did was I put a little weight back here and a little weight in the center, and it actually doesn't suspend, but it backs up kind of slow. Does real good. And then I also made some giant lures for a buddy of mine, balsa wood. Put some big rattles in them and custom painted them, and I kept a couple for myself and made him some. You always do that, because if it turns out to be something really good, but they want something odd, and I try and make it. And I made some smaller jerk baits, rattles in it, and you just copy a Rapala or a balsa, a Bagley's. You know, you can look at them and then shape your lure real similar, and bill angles and stuff. That's about it. Oh, one more. Original P70 Popar, custom toxic tackle painted. It was quite a find. It was a nice one, in pretty good shape. It had a little rash on it on the side right here, and you can actually take on these plastic lures, once you get the paint off of them, if they got some rash or whatever, take a little skim coat body filler like you would use on your car, like in a body shop, and just take a little dab of that skim coat and sand it and get it all smoothed up, and then base coat it and paint it. So if y'all like the lure porn video and the explanation, let me know. I can give you a lot more. I've got all kind of unique stuff, and stuff that's been made or stuff that's been custom painted, or I've got a lot of lures made by a lot of other people. But I like to share the videos, and I got some more quick tips coming, and some more lure making videos coming. I've got some more ideas on some lures to show you, and a little more explanation on some of the videos. I didn't deliver the information as good as I should have, so I'm going to touch up on some of that stuff in some of my videos, so y'all stay tuned.